Have you ever heard of taking loans from your life insurance policy to continue to pay the premium with that same life insurance policy? Does it make sense? In most cases, not really. However, it can work if we're looking at it as a short-term strategy. Today, I'm going to go over a case that demonstrates someone who asked this exact question: can I finance my premium for a period of time with my policy? But I'd like to see if it makes sense when looking at the net returns. So we'll go through exactly what he's interested in, and then I'll also show you how to look at the net returns whenever you're taking a loan against your policy to then pay the premium for that policy. So what we've got specifically is a 50-year-old individual. What he wants to know is, if I take a loan from my policy to pay the premium, does it make sense? Meaning, can I do this without generating a negative return when I look at how much my cash value is growing by compared to how much I'm paying in loan interest? What he is interested in is moving $500,000 into a whole life insurance policy. And first, he wants to see doing that over 5 years versus 10 years to see which option gives him the most money and also which one he's most comfortable with. And here's the question: what if I fund 200 grand and then the other 300 grand I fund with loans? What does that look like? Let's take a look. First, the 5 and 10 year funding scenario. So what we have is a Guardian 10-pay policy, one of our 4 major mutual companies. And the 500K, here is how he's planning on funding it: $70K per year for the first 5 years, and then $30K per year for the next 5 years. His true all-in minimum premium is a little bit more than $12,000 per year with a base premium, term rider, everything with this particular product. But he's got the cash. He can fund this no problem. So $70K per year for 5, followed by 30. What is highlighted in yellow is the 5th year when he breaks even. That was important for him to see. Then you've got the cash value, death benefit, dividend rate, which is a gross rate. That is not what his money is growing by, which is why we've got the annual yield, which displays the net rate of return. Negative in the first 2 years, then starts to pick up the pace, peaks at a little bit more than 5.25%, and this is based on a regular preferred rating, not a preferred plus rating, which would make those numbers a little bit better. And then you've got option B, which is funding the policy over 5 years. When you look at the return on the far right, it's about the same as what you'll notice on the left. However, you are getting the money in faster, and all that means is it's going to compound faster. So when we look at the cash value difference, specifically after the 10th year, when you have paid $500,000 into both options, you will see you've got a little bit more with the 5-year funding scenario. So a lot of people like that. In his case, he said, hey, I get that. That's not enough for me to put the money in faster. I'm more comfortable with the 10-year funding scenario. He's a super technical guy, understands rates of return, numbers. He works for Oracle, very, very sharp guy. So he knows exactly what he's looking for. So what he wanted to see is this guy, but what does it look like if I leverage the policy with loans to pay the premium, say after the 3rd year? So if I put in 200 grand or 210, and then the other approximate 300,000, I use loans to pay the premium, what does that look like? What does it look like if I pay it back or if I don't pay it back? Here's how we can look at that. So we would run this in the illustration software. We also have our loan workbook, which allows us to simulate this, which is cool. So what we've got here, a couple things. On the left, those are your policy values. That's the same illustration we just looked at. To the right, we've got our loan scenario. Maximum loan. This is 95% of your cash value minus any loans that you have outstanding. that's going to automatically update whenever you plug in annual loans here. The interest rate, 5%. Guardian has a fixed rate of 5%. It is actually 4.76% if you pay the interest annually. It's discounted. We're going to keep it at 5% here to keep it conservative. Loan balance, that's great. Yearly cash value growth. This shows your annual yield, but in dollars. It simply shows you how much your cash value is growing by net year over year. And this is the net dollar amount you are receiving from the insurance company, meaning we are not including your payments in that growth. That would not be fair because that's your money going in. Then you've got your annual interest, which is how much interest you're going to pay to the company, and then the spread, which will tell you, am I positive or negative? One of the things he mentioned, which I loved, was if I don't borrow anything, I've got a negative spread for the first 2 years. It's important to be aware of that, because if you take a loan with this particular product during the first and second year, not only do you have a loss if you do nothing, but now you're also paying the insurance company loan interest. You can feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Doesn't feel good. So he wanted to see, what does it look like if I start it after the third year? Let's start it here at year 4. We'll fund exactly what the premium is. So years 4 and 5, $70K. And then $30K the next 5 years. So you've got the annual loan here. Here we go. This does assume he is paying the loan interest. If you're going to do this strategy, I would always recommend paying the loan interest. You can look at it without paying it, but it's not going to be attractive. Some people try to sell it that way, and I'm not a big fan of it because you're counting on the policy performing as illustrated. If it underperforms, man, where the loan interest rate goes up, that's not good. So here we go. Beginning the 4th year, we're loaning exactly what the funding is. So he's borrowing against his policy, paying the premium. What he is paying out of pocket every year is what you see here in loan interest. So he still has a decent out of pocket. However, the spread is what you want to look at on the far right, because what this is showing you is simply what is he getting from the insurance company, and then what did he pay in loan interest to the right, and the spread will show you, did I pay more or did I receive more? In his case, with this specific strategy, he received more, which is fantastic. That's what we're looking for. If you started this a year earlier, what do you think will happen? Negative for a bit. See what's going on? So this is the kind of stuff we want to look at up front with everyone. Now, folks that do this, I heavily encourage looking to repay some or all of that loan. So if he did, what would happen? Let's just pay it back. 1, 2, 3, then 60. As you pay it back, your cash value that's available to borrow is restored because you're still earning interest on your entire cash value. So leveraging loans from your policy to continue to fund your policy. Can it work? Yes. Does it always work? No. How can you tell if it's best for you? Look at the numbers. You can have illustrations run by your agent in the insurance company software. If you're working with us, you can use our loan workbook to get a quick on-the-fly answer, but we still want to look at the actual illustrations from the insurance company. But it can work. In my opinion, I'm always a fan to at least pay the loan interest and eventually begin to repay that loan as well. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, please let us know. And as always, I hope this helps.